Diana, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let me hold on for just 1 second. I want to pull up. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I mean, it's just a blank document right now, but
Right.
let me pull up your email. All right, cool. So is this an appointment that you already went out on?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about what happened and everything so far, and then we can look at actually analyzing the deal.
Now, when we went there, she told us she wanted to sell as quickly as possible, but she wanted to have like a month or so before she moved. So
Yep.
that wouldn't be a problem. However, it's a very nice house. It has some repairs, like redoing the floor,
Hmm.
some sections of it. But most of the house is tile, so we decided we would just match tile instead of trying to get rid of it.
Hmm.
And we had like painting and deck repair, but nothing major.
Do you have any pictures that are, oh yeah, you have the pictures here. Okay. All right, let's see if we can take a look at these. Oh, how did you do this? Did you put these pictures in RealFlow? Is that what you shared with me?
Yes, we took them from Rialto.
Okay. And by the way, I put in the request for the cell phone records, so I'm waiting to get those back. I'm hoping that we can get those back sooner rather than later. I'm hoping they're going to come back this Friday, but they might come back next Friday, just as an FYI.
Okay.
And then we can get you going on the calling and all that good stuff. So let me just see what the address of this property was. 1531 Crescent. Okay. Crescent. Is that the subject property? 1531 Crescent?
Yes.
Okay. Hmm. Why don't I see that in here?
I don't think we have the same link to Real Flow.
Oh, okay. So are you using your own RealFlow?
Yes.
Ah, okay. That's why I can't see it. Is there any other way for you to share those pictures with me?
Um, I think I can log into my Real Flow.
1531 Crescent View. Is that San Antonio?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let me just see if I can get this on a street view. All right. Is this the subject property here?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so this property is definitely in good condition. I mean, I can just tell from looking at the outside of it um, that it's not going to need a lot of work. What was the condition on the inside on a scale of 1 to 10?
First, before we go inside, that the single garage to the left,
Yep.
somebody drove into it. So
Okay.
that it's still indented. It needs to be changed.
Okay. All right. And I mean, that's not anything huge. What else?
And because of that, there is a section in the roof of the garage
Yep.
we would need to work on as well.
Okay.
The carpet out of the living room area because she's a dog.
Yep.
She hasn't done anything to that area as yet. So I told her she wouldn't have to do anything. We would just take care of it, either put in the wood or matching the tile.
Okay. All right. So let me go back here. So I can't see the pictures, but let's take a look at the comps.
If you pull it up on realtor.com, you'll be able to see the pictures.
Oh, okay. Oh, 15, 14. And are the pictures that are on here the same as current?
Yes, pretty close to it, just at the floor.
Okay.
Needs to be
Cool.
done.
Let's take a look at it. All right. So did she have this property listed before?
She did, and
Okay.
got an evaluation and everything. That's one of the setbacks because she can get a lot for her house.
Well, she listed it. What did she have it listed for?
She wanted 260 at the time.
When did she have it listed?
About a year or so ago, she said.
Okay, so it was listed at 260. It didn't sell anything pretty much nationally, and I know your market's pretty hot too. Anything that's not selling on the MLS quickly means it's overpriced. So what was she hoping that we could pay? I mean, this property's in perfect condition, in terms of comparing this to, a typical investor type property. I mean, this property, very minimal work. I mean, you could sell this property as is. So I can't really see, if we were to go in this property,
That area with the dining table,
yep.
there's no carpet there anymore, but the kitchen is pretty much as is.
Okay. Yeah, either way, I mean, the most you would do to this property is a minor renovation, but you might not even want to do a minor renovation. So when you ran the comps, you were coming in at, let's see, 290. All right, so the property was built in 95, which you could see it really was in great shape. It's not that old. Why does she want to sell to an investor versus just listing it back on the property, listing it back on the market?
I guess because she had it on the market and didn't get it sold, she
Yep.
decided she wanted somebody to work with her as well to sell it and stay in it for a little bit until she could move.
Okay, perfect. So you came up with a 290, and let's just say it's worth 290, just really to keep it simple. Like this one, because it doesn't really need anything, you could sell it as is. Where did you come up with an offer, and what did you suggest to her?
205 is what I was using.
Yeah, so I mean, I just did this really, and I spent 2 seconds doing this, obviously, as you can see. I came up with 203, so how did she respond to the 205?
Not good.
What did she say exactly?
And she said she gave us some evaluation that was done a year ago, giving her a value of 270.
Uh-huh.
Which is why she wanted 260 at that time. But I told her that the appraisal report is saying it's valued close to 245, thereabout.
Mm-hmm.
And then I told her with the repairs, the new floor and the painting and deck and stuff, I would say that would put us about 20 and, hypothetically. And then I told her, and then we would need to resell it. So the most I could offer at this time was 205. She said, No, she thinks she can get 280 for it. I'm like, that's too.
Yeah, so I mean, just think about that logically. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, and this is something that obviously you kind of have to get across to her. But if she had her property listed last year for 260 and it didn't sell, it's not. That means it wasn't even worth 260 last year.
Right.
So clearly it's worth a little bit less than that. Maybe the prices come up a little bit, but yeah, we're going to be nowhere near that. So let's just say she wants top dollar right now. She wants 280, whatever. Is she going to be putting her property back on the market?
Well, not yet. If anything, she would move out of it first, and she don't want that.
What do you mean she would move
Somewhere
out
to
of it first?
stay. She want to have somewhere to stay until the other house is built.
Okay. And so she has another property it's in new construction that's being built right now.
Right.
Okay, so what's her plan then? How is she going to achieve this?
She wanted to sell it, and we allow her to stay there a month or two while the other property is finished.
Uh-huh.
She could just have money as well to pay down on the balance.
Okay.
I I didn't get, or I don't know for sure how to pull up our existing mortgage balance. I didn't see any.
Was that in real flow? Because that's obviously a huge thing.
I didn't see. I saw listing price 237, but I don't know if I missed it, but I didn't see it.
Let me see if I can find it. 1531 Crescent View. Because we might be dead in the water just based on the mortgage balance, but we have to just see where that's at. All right, so property public info. Let me see if it's in here anywhere. Yeah, and this, I mean, obviously real flow is never 100% accurate, but real flow is showing, basically a valuation of 237.
Mhm.
So the thing is, honestly, even at 205, your numbers are probably going to be pretty tight. But here's the deal. So she owes 197 on this.
Is
So
that the current balance, or is that how much she bought it for in 2007? She said that she did a refinance.
so this is a loan. So it looks like here at some point in 2001. All right, so it looks like she paid 237 for it back in 2001. Got a
Okay.
loan of 190, right? And then in 2007, she refied it out at 197. Most likely between 2001 and 2007, she probably refied it just to get a lower rate. So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing with this one is that she basically has no equity. So if she sold to you at 205, then she's not going to put any money in her pocket or very little money in her pocket.
But 2007, that's over 10 years. Should at least pay it down a little bit more, right?
A little bit. I mean, if you look at
About
it,
40?
right. So if you, let's just look at an amortization schedule, right? All right. So it was 197.
Right.
Let's just say 30 years, 4%.
It's under today's rate.
What was that?
The amortization schedule.
All right. So, and I mean, this is just a rough calculation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe she's paying off on average. Let's see.
Years.
Today is 2018 to 2028. So maybe she's paying off $400 a month. Call that $5,000 a year times 10 years. Yeah. So, I mean, she might have paid off 50,000 of this, maybe. Even still, she doesn't have a ton of equity, but so what, how is she already started new, did she already buy the land, or does she have an offer on a new construction home that she's going to be building? What's the situation with that?
It's already in process. She had another house, a ranch that she sold. I think instead of selling this one a year ago, she did the ranch.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's using the money from that to start building. And so she's trying to downsize because they're getting older.
Yep.
And just build something smaller.
Got it. So what is she going to do? Obviously, we're not going to be able to come up on our offer. What is she going to do if our offer doesn't work? Is she going to then go ahead and list it? What is her take on that?
Well, she said she would. She's also in new construction. She doesn't do investing, but she does new construction. So she said she would get to do the work herself.
Yep.
And list it.
Okay. So, I mean, it sounds like to me she's not super motivated. I mean, what was your take on that?
She said she wanted to sell now, and she said, if you are able to make me an offer now, as long as you allow me to stay in there, she's ready to go.
Well, that's another problem, though.
Yeah.
So how would you pull that off? I mean,
But she offered to lease it.
Yeah, but then how are you going to make money on that?
Wow, that's why I came to you.
Yeah. I mean, that's not really something. And again, you go on, you want to get somewhere between 10 and 15 face-to-face appointments, because you're going to get, a lot like this one would be one, if you had your real estate license. And did you say you're going to work on that or no?
Yes, I'm working on it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a huge, deal, but this is one where I don't really see there being a huge amount of potential here for an investment deal. There's not enough motivating factors, and there's not a lot of equity, and the property's in good condition. So there's a video that I have. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's in the ClickFunnels login. And it's basically, let me just see if I can find it. Yeah, it's in a folder, investment seller versus retail seller. And at the end of the day, there's characteristics like the profile of a retail seller, and there's a video here, and then there's a PDF. So profile of a retail seller, right, is willing and able to make repairs. So she's willing and able to make repairs. Is not under any time constraint to sell. She's got a little bit of a constraint there, but she's not motivating enough. Does not mind open houses or showings.
So she said she didn't want anybody in her house.
Okay, so that is definitely something where, it would make me push it a little bit back towards investment. Motivated to get top dollar for their home. It does seem like she's motivated to get top dollar for home. And it seems like
she said, with that, she said she's flexible, so make her an offer. And I think based on her experience a year ago, she know that she's not going to get what she's asking for it.
Right.
But she's not wanting to at least go to the bottom of the barrel. She's like, okay, make me a reasonable offer. So I told her I'd get with you and get back.
Yeah. But I don't think you can go above 205. I really don't. And then there's the other underlying factor there of just the fact that she wants to stay there. So she would have to leave. I mean, there's just no way that there's no way that you can make money on this. there's no person that would allow her to stay in the property after buying it unless it was just a crazy good deal. Like if somebody said this to me, I would say, okay, great. My original offer was 205. You want to stay in there as a renter? My offer is going to be 170 or 180, because no investor is going to want to be a landlord on a property they're trying to flip or wholesale, and no traditional buyer is going to do this for her. So, I mean, if she sold it on the market right now, where would she go?
I guess she'd have to go to an apartment or a hotel or something until her house is done. But she said it should be finished within 6 weeks to 2 months.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, so then all you would do there is put the property under contract and then sell it the day that she'd be ready to move out. So then I guess the time frame thing isn't really that big of an issue because there's still plenty of time. I mean, it's a short window of time and you could just hold off on that. So I think like if you had your real estate license, this would be one where I'd probably hit more on the retail angle. Since you don't, I would just, do your best to explain to her, the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is her property didn't sell for 260, which means that it wasn't worth 260. I would go through the pluses and minuses of selling to an investor. Obviously, the plus of selling to an investor, for her, the biggest thing is going to be the day that she ends up leaving the day that she ends up moving into that new construction, say in 6 weeks, she's going to be able to sell her property. And if not, what's going to end up happening is once that new construction property ends up being finalized, she's going to move in there and then she's going to have the holding costs. So she's going to think about the holding costs of the property as well. So another document that we have that might be helpful in this situation is we have a net sheet. Let me see if I can pull that up. So essentially what a net sheet does is it'll walk her through the difference between accepting the 205 offer or going back on the market at 265 or 270. So essentially, like what she's saying that she wants to do is, she wants to repair it. So you would put the value after repairs. Then you would put in the negotiated price, right? Because most homeowners are going to try to get a discount on the property. So you would subtract out the negotiated price. You would subtract out the real estate commissions. You would subtract out the closing costs. She's going to have a monthly holding. So one of the biggest benefits here for her for selling to an investor is that she's not going to have to sit on the property. So as soon as she moves into that other property, she might be sitting on this property for 3 or 4 or 5 months. So she's got a $200,000 mortgage. So we already took a look at that. That's going to be $10,000 right there. So if you just did some really quick math and, showed her this, again, it may help her because she's talking about, let's say that this number here, let me just do a side-by-side comparison. Because she may or may not have already done this math on her own, or she might not be even thinking about it. She might just be thinking about the number. So the reason why you want to use a net sheet is to really show them like what the true net is, instead of basically her just looking at it like, well, I want 280 or I want 260 or whatever the case is. So the way I would look at this is the property didn't sell for 270 before, so it's not worth 270. But let's just say that after she makes some repairs, it's worth 270. All right, and then you're going to subtract out the negotiated price. Let's say a buyer gets it for $10,000 less of what she wants. And then she has a real estate commission that she has to pay of $15,000 at 5%. Closing costs, let's call that $5,000. Holding costs. So right now, she's probably paying somewhere around $2,000 a month. And let's say she's going to have to hold it for 5 months. So right, she's going to basically net 230,000, and we're offering her 205. And let me just see. I think I have something else that may be helpful here. So, I mean, this is basically the reality of the situation for her, right? So we use this handout here to basically compare the difference between her different options, right? So this is basically what she's thinking in her head. She's thinking that she's going to get 270 or 280, which is the biggest stack, right? But she's not subtracting closing costs and repairs. She's not subtracting any potential unexpected expenses and holding costs. And this is the investor offer now. So, I mean, at the end of the day, let's even say that there were no unexpected expenses and holding costs. What she's going to net is still probably going to be a little bit bigger than the investor offer now. But as you saw by me just running these numbers, it's really only a difference of $25,000. And so again, at the end of the day, a lot of times if somebody really wants to sell to an investor, they probably will net a little bit less money, but they're going to have a more guaranteed, transaction. So I would go back, I would keep working this one. And then obviously, I would continue to push all the leads that you're still getting. And I think it's just a matter of we've got to get you out with a lot more people. And this is the first appointment you had, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we've got to get you out with like at least 10 of these. Because right now you're kind of probably looking at it like, that this one is be all end all type of thing. But we just need to get you out with more of them.
Okay.
Chris, who's on the line right now, if I brought you in right now, would you be able to come on, or do you need to get back to work right now at this very minute? If you can just type into the chat box, Chris, and I can bring you on if you have like 10 or 15 minutes. And if not, then you can just email me after the fact. All right, cool. All right, Diana, I'm going to bring in Chris. If you have any follow-up questions on this one, just shoot me an email and let me know.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Chris, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now. What's going on?
Okay, pretty good. How are you this morning?
I'm doing awesome. So what happened? You thought you weren't going to actually really get any leads?
Well, you never know.
No,
But
I
yeah,
know.
I've been swarmed. Yeah, actually. So
Yeah,
this is a good thing.
that's good. And I know obviously when you get a bunch of leads, like some of them are going to be bad, some of them are going to be good.
Yeah.
How many people? So you started what, a week ago, maybe?
This is topping 2 weeks now.
Okay. How many leads did you get, and how many people have you kind of gotten on the phone so far?
I've had 19 leads, 6 people on the phone, and 1 appointment.
Okay, good deal. For the 6 people that have you gotten on the phone, are there any other potential meetings coming up?
This weekend I do from those phone calls. I have one, and then another branch from a lady would be a neighbor. She's also trying to sell her house. So I'm trying to piggyback that.
Okay,
lead.
so you're basically on pace because what we want you to hit is roughly 1 appointment a week. If you can get 2, even better. And it
Okay.
sounds like you might even be on pace to get 2. But yeah, that's good. I mean, definitely. And then there's also people in there, keep in mind, that you haven't been able to get a hold of that you will end up meeting with. Sometimes they don't respond for a long time, and I don't know what the deal is. They fill out a form, but it's not uncommon for me to get a lead, say in December of 2017, and then we meet with them. They don't respond until February. So just keep that in mind too, that there's going to be some ones that, that you end up getting a long time after the fact. But
yeah, I probably still keep touching them, even though through in the holidays, I may touch them even more just because of the timing of the calendar.
yeah, and you're on the road still a lot, right?
On the road work, I work here, yes.
No, but you're in your car a lot, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I would just anytime you're in your car, just get on the phone if you can.
Mhm.
So
Sure.
So what did you want to talk about with the valuation specifically?
Well, I've become pretty savvy with the evaluating properties, seeing what they need. One thing is the demographics of the house, where it's sitting. Is it a hot area in the town that I'm at? Is it how, days on market? I look at those type of things as well. Uh, but I do have a property here that the client is waiting for me to get back with him to make an offer on his house. And I did go through all the bullet points of what do you have on your mortgage? What do you expect? Can you take any lease? Is that the lease? Is that the lowest? Is that the lowest? I kept, cycling that through him.
Mm-hmm.
But I just need to, to back up my numbers on comps, days on market, that sort of thing. Make sure I'm offering a good offer, an investment offer.
Did you already make this person an offer?
No, I have not. I met with him last week and I've been delaying it. I've had some trouble trying to get into real flow, look at some of the docs there.
What's the address of the property?
It's 1182 Blake, Blake Court, Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Okay. All right. So built into you've already been inside this one, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So built in 2002. I'm assuming this is in really good shape, right?
It's decent. Floor covering, paint, and maybe update the cabinets, countertops,
Yeah.
bathrooms, set.
Okay. So where are we on this map here? 1142. What was it again?
1182 Blake.
Oh. Okay, and based on the basic research that you did, what were you coming up with for an ARV?
I was coming in approximately 310 to 325.
Okay. So one thing that we know is that Zillow in general today is pretty accurate on the ARV side. We've found that to be, if you just want to really, really shortcut it like crazy, it's been pretty good overall. Do you know what he owes on his mortgage?
Yeah, he shared that it was 256,000.
Okay. So what does he want to have happen?
The basic points was he'd like to sell it after the holidays. He wants to downsize and doesn't really want to go through a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay. And why doesn't he want to go through a realtor?
for some reason, I thought it was ironic. No one wants to go, doesn't want anybody through his house. And I'm like, well, you got to sell it, don't you? But that was a big reason. And I don't know if there's other reasons. I try to read people, and after I get into a conversation with them, it sounds like his interest rate. Well, I know his interest rate's 8.5%. His payment's $244 a month. I think he's just drowning in debt with the mortgage payment. So, and he also showed that he consolidated a bunch of bad debt into a credit card. So he might have just upside down himself, and where the house should have been updated, because it has the older bathrooms and the lower height sinks and such. So,
All right. Well, this one doesn't seem that hard to analyze because let's even just like, what is this thing worth on the high side?
I think in that area, 330.
Okay, so let's just say it's worth 330 right now. So that's going to get us to an investor offer of roughly 230, and he owes 250.
Yeah.
So that this is a pretty tough one because he really owes more than what we can even pay. And where is he going next?
Unknown.
He doesn't know, or he won't tell you.
He wasn't sure. That's what he told me. That's why he said he would like to have, moved out after the first of the year.
Okay, so what's his motivation though for moving?
Well, just building some rapport with him and talking to him. Like I mentioned before, I think he has too high of an interest rate. He has credit card consolidated debt onto the loan, and you can tell that, I don't know if there's a family issue, but I didn't see a wife there, and I dug for that to see who was on the mortgage, if he was, but he has a wife, but she wasn't available.
Is this the property right here?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, I mean, this is pretty easy, right? Because 1182 Blake Court is here, and this one is whatever. How many beds is it?
I'm sorry.
How many beds and baths?
4 beds, 3 baths.
Okay. And how many square feet?
He told me it was 3050, but calculated out to me around 2800.
Okay. So is this property sold same street in October? How does this one compare?
That has a lot more amenities, nicer inside. Absolutely, it's all top notch.
And did you look at this one?
I didn't see this one, no.
Okay. And this I kind of just randomly got lucky with. I mean, I just was putting this in Redfin just to see what they pulled up for comps, and this one came out.
Mm-hmm.
So if this one sold at where do we have this one? This one sold at 338.
Mm-hmm.
What is the other one worth? And again, just totally ballparking it.
As is.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's worth about 240.
Right, and he owes 250.
Right.
So
that's true payoff.
that exactly. So and are you thinking about working on your real estate license?
I need to. Actually, I just had a conversation with one of my realtors, even just becoming an aide. So I have access to the MLS and be able to build a CMA quicker.
Definitely. I think that'd be a great like first step for you. Because I think like this one was just a no-brainer, and obviously like this is me having tons of experience and analyzing. I'll basically analyze about 20 of these a day, locally, and so this one in terms of valuation was just easy because there's one right on the same street. So I mean we know 100% certainty that this subject property, the Euro property, is worth less than this one that I have on the screen. But even if it was worth what we've got on the screen here, which again, what was it?
338.
338. So even if ours was the exact same and we took 70% of that, we would still be below payoff. Now, if it was exactly the same and we were looking at a property like this and it was just a really nice property, really well done, didn't need any work, I would probably consider going over that. But the other thing to factor in is not only like this one was just easy because he definitely can't take what we can pay, but then it's also a matter of like what does he need to do to get from point A to point B. So it's really important to understand and help him understand and at least come up with brainstorming like what's he going to do next. So is he going to rent next? Is he going to buy next? Because all that stuff makes a huge difference. Did he talk about that at all?
He did indicate that he's looking for a house and wanted to downsize one level. Obviously, this is a two-story. So,
So, so if he's looking to downsize and he's looking to buy, he's probably going to need some money to move.
hmm
So that's another variable. Like even when somebody owes exactly what the payoff, even when somebody owes exactly what we can pay, a lot of times they need money to get from point A to point B.
Yep.
So for him, like the only way he's probably going to achieve what he needs to achieve is by listing the home. The only thing is he may not even get that.
I think the
Might get that. He might
competition
not
in the
get
area, it's so everything's updated and finished, and that's what sells quick. And obviously, it's probably everywhere. So he probably knows he's going to have to put $30,000 in it, maybe 40,000 to even make it presentable to market.
And I'm assuming he doesn't want to do that, right?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, again, there's just nothing that can be done on the investment side because you can't even, you might be able to offer him what he owes, but again, I don't think that's going to work for him. So I would actually phrase it like that. I would say, if we could give you what you owed, would that work for you? And just kind of see how he responds. Most likely, it's not going to work. So then the next thing, I mean, do you have potentially an agent that you can work with on this?
Yep. I sure do.
So, did you bring out the agent yet?
To the client, no, I have not.
That would be my next step because I would want it. I think for you, especially like when you're, first starting to work these leads, I'd love to see what an agent in that area comes up with the valuation. And how good was your rapport with this guy?
Real well. I mean, we talked everything business wise on the house. He was open, I'd say, good 80%.
Mm.
Personal life, he wasn't so open to.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, I mean that takes some practice, but I would definitely see if you can get the agent back out there and basically just say, hey, look, we want a second opinion. I want a second opinion on the valuation. I just have somebody that I work with. Is it okay if I bring them out and then kind of see what the agent opinion is?
Okay.
And then, maybe we're wrong about the valuation. I don't think we are because I think that this one seems pretty clear. But even if we are off on the valuation for whatever reason, then maybe we can pay a little bit more. And if not, then the agent will be there to try to maybe convert it into a listing.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about that. We had coffee last night talking about networking things, my exit strategies. Hey, if I pick up the house, if it's cheap enough, I'm going to rehab it myself. If I don't feel like doing the project, I'd wholesale it. And third step would be listing it. So one way
You talked about that with the seller or with the agent?
agent,
Okay,
my agent.
good. Yeah, so I mean, I think like this one, again, unfortunately, is more of a retail deal than anything else, and I'm sure you're going to get with how many leads again? Did you say you got 30?
No, I've had 19 leads.
19. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's really good. I mean, 19 leads in 2 weeks. Like I mentioned to you, I mean some markets we get more leads, and it just seems like probably that's what the case is with yours. So, I mean, if we can get even 60 to 70 leads, we're going to be in good shape. So we just need to get those leads, get you out with more people. And, like in this case, let's say he owed 200, you probably could have made something happen. So the mortgage balance definitely dictates a lot on these, on whether or not they can even take anything.
Exactly. Yeah, you want to get to people who need to sell, got the house almost paid off, and they have some fluctuation there.
And that's why it takes 10 appointments, because it's like all the stars have to align. Like in this case, he seems like he's got a lot of the motivating factors of a motivated seller, but then the numbers on what we can do and what his house is worth doesn't work. And then you might go out and the next person, they may have all equity, but they're not motivated to sell to an investor.
Mm-hmm.
So you've just got to get the volume of people. And that's why, like, if you eventually get your real estate license, it's such a no-brainer, because like this one, you know, is kind of like a dead lead to you. Maybe you can do your friend a favor, get some sort of referral fee. But if you had your license, then you would be able to convert this one into a listing yourself, and, you know, maybe make, you know, $5,000 or $6,000 on it, which would, you know, basically pay your marketing costs.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah. So how do we get the volume turned up on getting more leads? Is that something you do in the back office, or?
well, I think you've got the volume right now. I mean, you could always spend more money on leads. I mean, but I don't even think at this point that would make sense for you to do. So,
Okay.
so I think, you know, that's something that, you know, once the 10 weeks are over, if you feel like, oh yeah, I do want to, you know, get more leads and all that stuff, you can definitely do. But as of like this very second, I think, I mean, do you think you're able to process the amount of leads that are coming through? Like, are you able to work all the leads are you up to date on all your calls and all that good stuff?
Yes, I am. I do. That's doing my full-time job, and this, it's comfortable. I'm not comfortable. It keeps me on my toes, which
Yep.
is what I want. So,
Okay. Well, if you, you know, I mean, if you do get to a point where you're just on top of things and you want to move a little bit faster, I mean, you could put more money into marketing, but I would think about more just getting the process down first and then kind of going from there.
okay. Yep. So,
So are you headed back to work now?
yes, I did. I stepped out for a little bit, so I appreciate putting me in the line there.
Yeah. If you need anything else, obviously let me know. I like to do these valuations, you know, like on these calls, only because then other people can sit and listen in.
Sure.
So, but if you do need anything else throughout the week, just let me know.
Awesome.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Tom. Have a good day. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right, guys. If there's is there anyone else on the line that wants me to review a property? Just let me know by typing into the chat box. I can bring you on. I can review any deal that you're working on. If you don't want me to review a deal and you just have another question on anything else related to real estate, let me know. I can bring you in. But if not, I'm going to leave it open for another 20 or 30 seconds. I don't see anything coming in, but we do these valuation meetings every single Thursday. So you will always be able to get the answer to your valuation questions. And so all you need to do ahead of time is just shoot me an email. Let me know that you want to review a property. I will review it live. And hopefully we can get you guys out to more properties, get you guys more deals, and make sure, obviously, that we are calculating the appropriate offer on every single property that we go out to. So I don't see anything. So I'm going to wrap up, and I will see everybody next Thursday for the valuation. Thank you.